think it's been that for quite some time, especially among hardcore college football fans. I think that there's a tribalism. There is, in a good way, there's a sense of community that college football brings, and I would argue that no other sport really touches. And I know this is basketball country, and there's a lot to be said for that, but basketball plays a lot more often. And the football season is short, and everything points to a single day. And this show, I mean, I've been on it 10 years, for 3 days of my time, sort of is a touchstone moment to start the day. And I hope that it's recognized by people that there are a lot of people on the set who aren't just up there performing. They're up there because they love college football. And hopefully that comes across. And I think because of that, the genuine nature of it, the way the show has evolved over the years, whether it be by adding different people or just a different approach to the way we look at the show, I think all those things have allowed it to maintain and grow throughout time, at a time when shows like ours aren't really growing in other portions of television, yet we are. We're very grateful to the people who watch because of it.
Shows seem to enjoy going to new places, and I know you guys were here in 2017 for a Thursday night game.
Big asterisk beside that visit. It was fun, it was great, but it wasn't this. Yeah.
Recalling that experience, what are you looking forward to most tomorrow?
I'm looking forward to actually being among the Indiana fans. I mean, we were in the stadium in 2017, and it was a great night, and people were excited, but there's a little something different about having our full footprint of the show and the full 3 hours, and starting the day of football, and then even today being able to, or tomorrow rather, go into the stadium for kickoff. It's just a different vibe and a different energy about that. When you start it early in the morning, people I'm sure are going to camp out, and we're going to have a huge crowd, and they're going to be loud and excited, and there's just something energizing about that. And I think it's a lot different when we go someplace where we haven't been before. When we go to Ohio State, when we go to Alabama, we're treated well, we're treated great, wonderful people, but it's almost like, hey, you guys are back. Oh, did you guys pay the property taxes and everything? I know we're all neighbors here. It's like they're used to seeing us. And when we come here, when we went to Cal a few weeks ago, there's a different kind of energy about it, for sure.
How about your thoughts about you, the kind of team that they had?
It's been remarkable. The first thing I noticed, because I'll be fully transparent about this. Tino Sinceri is a friend of mine, has been for a long time. His dad and I are friends. He's a coach of Colorado. And so when they got this job, I made it a point. I watched the UCLA game, and I was like, wow. First game, the adjective I've used is crisp. And what I mean by that is they execute, they're not sloppy, there's not confusion. A lot of that is attributable to Coach Shanahan, Coach Signetti, Tino, and really to Curtis. I mean, he's a veteran guy who orchestrated the offense very well. Defense plays with a lot of intensity and aggression, and I think it looks a lot like Kurt's teams at James Madison. They were crisp and they won, and it's I think they're really, really impressive. Has the schedule been daunting? No, but I mean, I don't mean this disrespectfully at all. It's Indiana. They haven't won more than 8 games in 50 years. So you say, well, the schedule hasn't been challenged. They're building a new program here, and I think what they've done is remarkable up to this point. And and Kurt said he thinks they have staying power, and nothing that they've shown on the field would indicate otherwise.
Rece, what does it mean to you? What does it mean to you personally to bring Lee Corso back here to Indiana, a place that means so much to him? It means a lot to the people here at Indiana.
I love the old stories, and the way we're going to open the show tomorrow, I think, is going to be special. And I think people are going to, I'm not going to give it away, but I think people will enjoy it, both the people who come to the show and the people who are watching on TV. I went back and I've read it, dozens of times before, but I went back and read the old article from Sports Illustrated, involved in some of the things that Lee's approach to trying to build a winner when he came here, and just sort of his ability to entertain while still being competitive, a hard-nosed competitor as he was as a coach. And the old stories about the different things that happened in the game, some of them that have become legend, that might have a hint of fiction in the middle, but as he once said, don't let the truth get in the way of a really good story. So there are so many great ones, and I think because of what he's meant to the show, he's the one who back in the day really embraced and personified the idea that he always reminds us of, even to this day. It's entertainment, sweetheart. Football's our vehicle, and he always says that. He embraced that early on, and because of that, he's one of the most, if not the most important figure in college football television history, because he changed the way pregame shows were broadcast. It wasn't just, well, we're going to see if we can block the 3 technique. Oh, that's great. It's important. But it wasn't just that. And he was a guy who was among the first guys to say exactly what he thought and not worry about it. Forget about it, the whole thing. And it really changed the way I think people approach the way they cover college football. And it's been great. It's wonderful to bring him back and see how excited people are to have him back.
For all your time working with him, what's your favorite Lee Corso story?
Okay, all right, this is easy. It's like we're at Penn State one year, and I always like to capture the essence and the scenes of something that is recognizable instantly with where we are. So we're at Penn State, and as you guys probably know, they passed the line to the top of Beaver Stadium. So we're out on Old Main, and I said, what if we pass the line back through the crowd? And I think it was Herb Street who said, he said, what if we got LC to do it? It's like 2016 maybe, I think. And so I go to him and he goes, yeah, we're going to do it. Well, as Friday afternoon went on, I started to get more and more nervous about this idea of passing Lee back through this giant crowd. And so I talked to security a little bit. They said, well, we'll keep an eye on him. I'm not sure this is a good idea. Not sure we should be doing this. I'm like, okay. Well, I said, let's see what it's like tomorrow morning. So tomorrow, Saturday morning comes, we're about to do it. Security starts kind of freaking out. Like, we don't know if we can get him back to the set in time for the show. We don't know if they're going to put him down. We don't know what's going to happen. Call it off. We'll just have the Lion do it. So I'm on his ass. Okay, tell our director at the time, Rodney Perez, open me up to LC. I'll tell him. And I said, LC, hey man, security's worried about this. Just forget about surfing the crowd. Just come on up to the set. And Lee said, hell no, sweetheart, we're doing it right there. And he did, and it was one of the great opens. I mean, this great crowd of LC Lion back being passed back through the Penn State crowd, and it was awesome. That's my of many, many, many great memories. I think that was the one. I became nervous about the logistics of the show, and here he was. No, people are going to like this and remember it. We're doing it, and it was great.
How many did you guys start to think that Indiana would be a team on your radar before the show here?
I mean, probably after they won 4 or 5 games. In all honesty, I think we were kind of peeking ahead and looking toward the Michigan game and saying, okay, that might be a place where we would consider going to Indiana. But then as things fell, this one seemed to make a lot more sense. And it's so I would say probably 2-3 weeks ago, started kind of keeping an eye on it and seeing where the opportunities might be.
We all know that the name on the jerseys shouldn't matter, but Indiana is Indiana, like you said. Do you think?
Wait, now you're making it sound like I really cast aspersions on it. I didn't really mean it that way.
Do you think that could hurt them toward the end of the season as they try to make a run to the college football playoffs?
Not really, not anymore. There are other opportunities. There are other openings now. Obviously, first of all, they can win the Big Ten, which is a tall order for sure. I understand that. But even if they don't, let's say, for instance, and I'll probably have to answer to Signetti for this one, but let's say, for instance, they lose to Ohio State, they don't make the Big Ten championship game, but they play competitively. I think there's a really good chance they would be in that. Remember, to be top 11, probably, depending on where the other conference champion would be ranked. There would be a chance they would be in that neighborhood if they win the rest of the games impressively and have a, just for instance, a close loss against Ohio State. So I think those types of things are going to matter less. There will still be football judgment. Their schedule outside of these games coming up in November will be scrutinized, and that's appropriate. There's nothing wrong with that. So a lot of it is going to be how they play. And if they play competitively, I think they've got a shot. And the best thing about the new system, they can just win. And then they don't have to worry about it.
That's all the time we have for Rece today.
Okay. All right, guys. Thank you.